Welcome to A1's video of, this is going to be the instructional video for Kimberbell's mini quilt June. And I'm just going to get ready to stitch this out. So I have everything prepped already, and I'm going to start with the very first block, which is going to be the blueberry block. All of these are going to be in the 5x7 hoop. They're just going to be 4x6s, and then it bumps them up to 4.5 by 6.5 when you add the quilting design. So I'm going to be using my 5x7 magnetic hoop. This is, we just did a big special on this. So if you want to get one of these at some point, let me know. We'll give you a great deal. These are the colors I'm going to be using. And it's always a work in progress. I feel like as I go, I change the colors, but, and I have this in the spreadsheet, the colors that I've chosen. Here is our fabric for our very first one. It's already cut and trimmed. And I'm going to go ahead and hoop up. These are for May. And so what I did was I'm stitching out May and June, and that way I can go ahead and, I can back those. I can put them back to back so I can like save a little bit of room. I saw somebody do it online and I was like, what a clever idea. So once these are done, then I'll cut them all apart and I will press them. So let me go ahead and take these off, and I'm just going to go ahead and scoot this up. This is muslin, and I use muslin because I like the way it feels better than I like the feel of the cutaway mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one down first. I'm going to kind of stretch, not stretch, but smooth my fabric out, and we'll put this one down here. And, woo, watch out. You can get a blood blister with these. And usually I cut my fabric a little bit wider. I don't know why I didn't cut it wider with this one, but I was like, oh, it still works. So I'm just using it. Normally, and I put these measurements on the spreadsheet. If you're using this magnetic hoop, which is the 5x7, cut your fabric 10.5 by width of fabric. And maybe this was for my 4x4, but I was like, oh, you know, whatever. Let's just use it. I like to clip the ends of my muslin, just like it's a roller stabilizer. And I'm going to go ahead and slide this onto my machine. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to load our quilting design. It says quilt first. And we're going to put in pebbles too. So I'm going to go to my pocket. I'm in my lower USB, my mini quilt folder, and I'm looking for my background quilting. And the quilting I want is Pebbles 2 4x6 vertical. So we're looking for Pebbles 2. And I'm PES. And we want 4x6 vertical. I only have one choice here, so this must be my vertical. I'm going to go ahead and set it. I'm using my 5x7 hoop. I think I was using my 7x12 before. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose the right hoop size, which is 5x7. My hoop automatically only goes to 900 stitches per minute. I can't go any faster than that. With these magnetic hoops, they kind of give you a limit. And that's what's safe to stitch at. And I'm going to add to that design. So what I'm going to add is I'm going to add the blueberry design. So I'm going to add pocket, my lower USB. I'm going to go to my mini quilt folder, and I am doing June. And there's my blueberry design. I'm going to go ahead and set it, and it's centered. Now, if you don't know where to find that information, it's all right here. You're going to go to your quilting information, and it'll tell you centered alignment. And this is really important too if you're going to quilt first or quilt later. So I always look here for special instructions. All right. So we're going to go ahead and touch embroidery. There's not really much scooting up you can do one way or the other, but I might as well. I'll probably save altogether maybe an inch. So I'm going to go layout, move. My hoop is slid on, so I can just go ahead and touch this, and it's not going to go outside the embroidery fill. I might as well go up and save a little bit of room. I'm going to say okay. Layout, this shows you what's stitching, the colors, and I always like going here where you can go forward and backward stitches, and I'm going to leave it right here because we are going to be skipping some steps. So the first thing that we're going to do And our background fabric for this one is this yellow. So I like to choose a contrasting color for later when I am going to be, I'm going to be trimming it. So I'm just going to put this in right now. This is lime. And I'm not even sure I'm going to use the lime. It called for 3 different greens, or maybe it was 2 different greens. And I just don't know which ones I'm going to use yet. So here is lime. And while it's stitching, I'm going to go ahead and prep my fabric. This is a placement stitch for your batting. I'm going to grab my dime spray tint. I like to show it off. Here's my dime spray tint. And this is what I spray in. I'm a sprayer, not a taper. I know the instructions will often tell you to tape, but I rather spray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my batting and my background fabric in here. So here's my background fabric, and here is my batting. Now your batting has 2 sides. There's a nubbier side, which is the wrong side. This is the wrong side, and then this is my good side. Oh, look, I had drawn on this. I usually grab these scraps. I just have tons of batting scraps, and I use my batting scraps. Hopefully that's not going to show through. I don't think it will. So I'm going to put that in there, and let's go ahead and give it a spray. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like shooting out. My sprayer is getting a little gunky. I'll have to clean that off. All right. Oh, shoot. I think I sprayed the good side of my batting, but that's okay. I'll put it with the nubbier side up this time. What happens is you can get some bearding if you have that nubby side up. And now I'm going to put down my background fabric and try and lay this down evenly. You can feel underneath. You want about 1 inch all the way around. That feels pretty good. It looks nice and straight. We're going to skip some steps. That is tack down for your batting. You don't need that if you cut it to size. That's your placement line. You don't need that if you already laid it down. And that is going to be the tack down for your background fabric. And I need that. So I'm going to go ahead and just tack it down. Tickling my fabric. Just making sure that it's going to stay in place. Next thing that's going to happen is your quilting stitch. There's my quilting stitch. Make sure you see it on your screen. If not, you might have to fast forward to it. And for the quilting, it's calling for a yellow, and I'm going to use cornflower, which is one of my favorite yellows. I like this contrasting line for when I go to fussy cut. I used to just match it, and I find it so much easier as my eyes age to have a contrasting fabric. Like when I have white on white, I just struggle. I'm like, where's my line? Of course, Patrick, as he gets older, his vision gets better. Did you even know that was possible? I was like, are you kidding me? Your vision's getting better? That's just, Patrick leads a charmed life. Not I. My vision gets worse. So I have my muslin rolled up like this. I think I'm going to roll it down a little bit and flip it. It's kind of getting folded up. There we go. Doesn't that look cute? This is a 25-minute stitch out. Next thing we're going to do after this, oh, you know what? My bobbin thread just ran out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. If your bobbin thread runs out, cut it. Don't just drag your hoop off. Otherwise, you will be dragging that bobbin thread too. I'm going to slide this forward. Let's get this out of the way. I knew I was going to be running out. I was like, should I just put in a new bobbin? And I couldn't do it. I was like, I got to use up that whole bobbin. I got to use the whole thing. I can't waste. All right, here we go. Slide that puppy back on, and on your screen, I'm going to hit return, and I'm going to go back 10 stitches. That way, they'll overlap. And then we're going to go into our quilting. What it wants you to do is we are going to be laying down the bowl, and it's asking for a green. Which green is it asking for? It's asking for the darker green. And so the darker green I've chosen is this one right here, which is aloe. It's not like a super dark green, but I'm going to be using aloe. You know, and it says color doesn't make a difference. The first thing we're going to be doing is laying down the bowl. There's a satin stitch, and I think that's why it's saying color doesn't make a difference. But sometimes I feel like that satin stitch, maybe there's like a stitch width that you're going to see the thread poking out. So I'm going to go ahead and put in white. If I was doing the leaves and something darker, I would just go ahead and put in the aloe, because that's the first color that's going to make a difference. But just in case, let's go ahead and just lay down the white. Okay, we're going to do a placement line for the bowl first. There's my placement line. Let's grab our fabric. Patrick's going to be coming in 1 second. He's so loud, so expect the door to open and then slam. Okay, here's the fabric that we're going to lay down. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and let me give it a little shot of spray. Okay, and you want to lay this down pretty perpendicular or straight or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put that down just like that. And we're going to tack it down. After you tack it down, we're going to trim this stitch close, and you could use double curved scissors or your snips. I usually use my my snips whenever I can get away with it, but sometimes I'll use my double curves, and these were my favorite double curves. Like this was like my first real pair of scissors. These are the 6-inch femoris, and you need a double curve. The first curve to get you over the edge of the hoop, and then the second curve to get you nice and close to the fabric and this tip from going into the fabric. And I have a baby pair and I have a mama pair. These are, I think these are 4.5 inches or 4 inches, and these are the 6 inches. And this, this was all I used in the beginning, because, in the beginning, all I used were those, I had a baby lock. That was my first machine. And all I used was the little turquoise handled scissors that came with the machine. I just didn't know that there were other things out there. Once I discovered these, it was a whole new world. I was like, oh my goodness. Are these like a dream? Look I should use these more often. I haven't used these in a long time, and they just cut so beautifully. And that curve lets you get nice and close to those stitches. There we go. Beautiful. So we're trimmed. What's next? So next step. Stitch the leaf placement line and place the leaf 1 fabric right side up. And I'm going to put that aloe in right now. So let me take out the white. Because it wants a darker green. All right, go ahead and hit start. You're going to see a whole bunch of green stitches on your screen. And guess what? That's a lot of stitching. I'm going to grab my fabric, which is right here. I may or may not stitch them all. I might stitch the one that's furthest towards me, the one that's at the top most left, and the one that's furthest away, because I don't feel like stitching all of these. Oh, we'll just let it go, but it's just a minute of stitching. Okay, we can just do it. Let's just do it. Oh, and you know what? The fabric that's going down first is the polka dot fabric. So we're going to be putting this fabric down. And you know, it covers that whole thing. I'm going to stop. Let's go ahead. It's just started. It's going to stitch again. I'm going to spray this down. I think it covers the whole area. So why stitch the whole thing, right? We'll just do the tack downs. So I'm going to spray this in my spray tent, just the back side. Okay. This covers the whole area. So as long as you cover this whole inside, well then you're not gonna have missed anything. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna skip the rest of the placement stitch. Remember, placement's turquoise, tack down is orange. Doesn't mean you don't need to stitch with orange. It just means that that is doing a tack down. There we go. There, that just saved us a whole bunch of time. And we always need to save time because we have so much Kimberbell to do. I know your shelves are filled with good intentions. I got stitched down. Usually beds down, but that one didn't. So this is step number 4. Tack down lines, trim the fabric close to the stitch lines. And then we're going to stitch the leaf 1 decorative outline. The decorative outline looks like that special little Kimberbell stitch, so you want to make sure you trim nice and close. This is just one piece of fabric, no shape flex or backing, so I'm going to use my snips. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3 more leaves. Okay, let's go ahead, trim this. We have a lot of fabric left, but you know, I kind of get it while we have to lay it all down at once. If you are low on fabric, you can always like do each one at a time. When my life was less busy and I had nothing but time on my hands, I probably would have tried to like save every last bit of fabric. But now I'm like, gotta go on to the next project. So now I just try to tell myself, because Patrick always goes, you don't value your time. So now I try to go, my time is valuable. I value my time. My time's important. you hold your fabric up, sometimes you can get like super close. The other thing I love about these snips is you're just pinching together, so I find it really easy to just switch them and go back and forth between my two hands. There we go. I'm going to throw that piece away, slide this back on, and then we are doing step number 5. Step number 5 is going to stitch the leaf 1 decorative outline. After we do this, then we're going to put the white in, and that's going to stitch the bowl satin outline 1 and bowl accent. So white's going to be after this. This is just a minute stitch out. I'm going to brush that off a little bit because we are going to be stitching down some white. Okay, let's put your white thread in. This is going to be 4 minutes of stitching because it's going to be doing a nice big chunky satin stitch. That always takes longer. And then we're going to do decorative. We are right now down here. So we just did step number 5, now we're doing 6, and then we'll do 7. I should turn my lights on in my sewing room. I don't have my main lights on. Let me go turn those on so you can see. right. Now it wants you to do step number 7, which is stitch the leaf 1 decorative outlines 2, and it wants you to put that green back in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my aloe back in. Such a great green. And it's, whoops, sorry, hit the wrong button. And now it wants us to go ahead and we're just stitching a decorative outline in 2 of the leaves. And then we're going to turn to page 8. And we're going to do some more placement. So we're going to do a placement line and then a tack down, and we're going to use that other green fabric. So I'm going to give my green fabric a little shot of spray. We're using this solid one right now. Okay, so, again, I go, do we need, I want to see where these green leaves are. And the green leaves are right here, kind of near the bottom of the bowl, but not quite, and they go all the way over to the sides. I'm going to skip the next step. So I'm going to go to the next step. And I'm just going to lay this down. I can see where it wants to stitch down. And if you're not comfortable with this, please don't do this. But I'm going to cover over just the very bottom of the bowl. And this goes almost edge to edge. So let me go here and lay it down. Oh, he's really close to this side. So let me go ahead and pull him up a little bit. All right. And let's go ahead. I skipped the placement because I was just kind of betting on, and if you're not all the way over there, stop it right now and rip out that stitch and just lay it down again. But I'm pretty sure that that is going to cover everything. That's the good thing about the fabric. The bad thing is the pieces are too big. The good thing is the pieces are too big, right? So we're going to do these tack downs. We're going to trim it close to the stitch. And then we're going to stitch the leaf 2 decorative outline 1. That's going to be step number 10. This right now is step number 9 in your book. And then we're going to do the blueberries. Blueberries are next. Okay, let's go ahead and trim these out. There we go. I'm going to put the foot down and I'm going to let it do the decorative stitching. This is step number 10. And then we're going to do the blueberries. Okay, the blueberry placement, same thing. You can kind of see where it goes. It kind of goes right below the base of the vase or the bowl. I'm going to give my fabric a little shot of spray so it's ready to lay down. And it looks like it goes further down, but the blueberries, they don't go beyond the leaves on the top. They're all the way down at the bottom. They're kind of in the middle, and they don't go near the top. So I'm going to skip the placement. Let's skip it. Okay, it's blueberry time. Let's go ahead. That's placement. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to do the tack down because I know that my blueberries are going to go past the top of the leaves. So, and I know they're kind of centered. So I'm just going to center it like this, and that should be good. Should I move it up just the tiniest bit? Oh, my dogs are being a menace out there. Okay, let's do my placement line, or my tack down line. Here, you go this way. Okay, I forgot to change my thread out, and color does make a difference. Sorry, I was distracted. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go over those stitches because they do have a decorative stitch that goes around them, but sometimes it doesn't cover the whole thing. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of this, and that will take me to my next color. This will go to the beginning of the color we're currently in. And we're using Marlin. Hopefully it'll cover it up, and then hopefully the decorative stitch will cover it all up. So look at me trying to save time by not doing the placement and then not looking at my color list. Sorry about that. Hope you didn't follow along right there. So we're going to do the tack down, and then we're going to trim. I think it'll make a difference. we're 16 minutes into our 25-minute stitch out. There's going to be a lot of innies and outies here, so I'll probably take my hoop off and trim these. I'm going to get my little snips ready. If at any point your fabric isn't far enough over, you can stop it. You have all that fabric in the middle. You can cut a piece and just slap it over there on the side. And if you feel like you're not good at gauging where it goes, then definitely do your placement line. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, put this on my lap, and I'll trim it out here. This is where you go, oh, I didn't know I didn't know I could turn my hand that far. I'm not a flexible person, but I'm amazed at how far I can contort my hand. And when you want to get into all these little innies and outies, these snips with the sharp little tip will make a big difference. I don't know who's knocking on the door. It's the dogs. I was like, is Patrick knocking? He would just come right in. It's kind of what you get. We have low production. Dogs barking in the background. I actually, yesterday, was I filming yesterday? I burped. You get burps too. I think it was the first time I think I was so relaxed, and then all of a sudden I burped. I was like, oh, excuse me. So that's what you get with, when you watch videos with Jeannie. It's not the classiest production, but we get the job done. How's that? If you see any spots where it's really far away, I would go back in there and get it. Like, you know, trim a little bit closer, because the stitch doesn't always cover everything. Okay, hit start. This is 3 minutes of stitching, and just go ahead and let it do that pretty decorative stitch around the edges. And hopefully it covers over any of those areas where I forgot to leave the thread in there, where I left the green in. So we're gonna do, this is step number 13, stitch the blueberry decorative outline 1. And then we're gonna do the stems, and I'm doing this light blue, which is azure. I really like this blue, I use it a lot. Looking good. I had to kick him out. Look how cute these little blueberries are. I just went to Costco yesterday and they have like the mega huge blueberries, which I'm sure are like so genetically modified, but I couldn't help myself. They're so good. I need a piece of tape so I can clean up all those threads. All right, and then we're gonna get ready to do, grab my book, step number 14, which is stitch the blueberry stems, and that's gonna be the light blue. Let's go ahead and put that in. And it says 2 minutes of stitching, but it's going to be like, it's not much stitching, but it's a lot of cutting, cutting, starting, cutting, cutting, starting. These cutie patootie little stems on the top. Aren't those adorable? They're like little flowers. Whoop. So it didn't catch. Hang on. Let's see if we can figure out where. Oh, so it is. Looks like it's connected down below. Hang on. I'm going to cut. Let me go ahead and hit the cut button. I'm going to cut my bobbin thread, or I'm going to check it, because the upper thread looks good. What's going on with you, bobbin? That is the strangest thing. Did I have my bobbin in upside down? I don't know if I've ever done that. It sure did look like it. But my stitches look great. It's a mystery I'm going to have to solve. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 17 of these. You know, it goes so much faster when I answer emails and don't sit here watching every single one stitch out. I was watching them going, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is taking forever. And then I stepped away and came back and they were almost done. It's just how it works. Okay, I want you to get your white thread. We're going to put white in next, and we're going to stitch the bowl satin outline. The bowl satin outline, okay. Satin outline. Let me get my white thread that lives on my machine. And this looks like just a little bit of satin stitching on the very top in between the blueberries. After we do this, we're going to stitch the chevron accents. And you can always look here to see what it's doing right now. Because I was like, bowl satin outline, didn't we do this? But now it shows where it's going to go. And then it's going to do the little chevron accents. So I think they're right there and right there. So see them right here and right here. Okay, now you're going to do the chevron accents. Just go ahead and hit start because it's in white. You want to get aloe again or whatever darker green you're using. Next step is going to stitch the leaf 2 decorative outline 2. That's going to be step number 17 right here. And then we're going to be stitching some leaf decorative outline, then some more blueberries, then some more blueberry stem fill, and then our stitching guide, and we'll be done with this one. Okay, put that darker green back in. I think we've got 3 more steps. And then we'll put our Marlin blue back in. At least that's the blue I'm using. Hopefully this will cover up the rest of my boo-boo. which you can't really see that much. I'm not too stressed about it. But it looks like it's going right where I want it to go. Right. And now we're going to put in the light blue. I think we're going to do some more stems. And then I think we do the trimming guide. And I think I'm going to just do the trimming guide in the same light blue because you'll see that contrast. This is right here. It's doing the little stems right now, and then it's going to stitch out the little trimming guide. Just make sure it's going to be a color that you can see, and probably not the yellow or the green. So there's like a little differentiation from that. And I'm just going to hit start. done with the blueberry bowl. Thanks.